Hello, good evening. Welcome to another episode of Easy 8's Online Painting Club. My name's Danny, and for the next 2 hours I'm going to be sat here painting some miniatures along with you guys to keep me company, and hopefully you'll be painting some stuff too, because the whole point of this evening's show, and every show, is that we all just kind of get together, paint some stuff, because we've probably all got mountains and mountains of unpainted models. Such is the curse of our hobby, which is of course collecting and painting, and maybe some other bits and pieces too. If you're new to the channel, it's not a tutorial show or anything like that. There's loads of that stuff already out there, and you should go and check them out because they're really, really cool and way better than I am, because I am not very good. No, this is a place where you can come along, join in, make some friends, get chatting with the live chat over there. There's a couple of people waiting already. We've got Shiv from Table of Horrors, we've got Kez, and we've got Adrian. Hi guys, thanks for coming along. Sorry to see that you're feeling a bit poorly today, Kez, and a bit tired, says Shiv, but otherwise, hopefully you're all okay. If you are painting something this evening, I would genuinely like to know about it. So come along and tell us all about it. You can tell these guys over here, and me as well. Obviously, I'm reading that too. You can put it down there in the comment section if you're watching it back on the replay, or you just fancy not chatting in the live chat. That's absolutely fine. And share a picture as well, because I'd love to genuinely see what it is that you're painting. So if you're working on something, I get quite motivated and inspired by you guys painting, and it's nice to have this time slot every evening, 2 hours of every week at the least, to come along and carve a little bit out of the week to do the thing that we all like to do. Hopefully we all like to do it, otherwise you're doing the wrong thing, guys. Yep. Yeah, so share some pictures, take some pictures and stick them up on Facebook, stick them up on Discord, on the Easy 8 After Party, because there's other platforms that we hang out on too, and there's links to all of our platforms just down there. There's also some links to other really cool people who like provide services or just do cool stuff, make their own stuff on YouTube. Go and check them out, because there's some awesome stuff out there, and that's what this show's also all about. It's just sharing the wealth of cool stuff that's out there, bringing everyone together in the community. So, if you like what we do, please do consider subscribing to the show, because every subscriber goes a long way to making this community grow, and I genuinely love connecting to every single one of you. And we're starting to make a nice little network of friends, and that's just great. I love it. I love that part of it all. It's, you know, creating the show, doing the hobby, and talking to you guys are all this kind of big one homogeneous blob of exciting fun, and I didn't really sell it very well in that word use there, but you know what I mean. It's all together, and I love it, and I love you guys. So if you want to share the love back, give this video a thumbs up if you haven't already. I'll give you a second. I'll drink my tea. Let's just give up the kettle. I tried to do it for dramatic effect. It was really hot. Whew. Yeah, so hopefully you thumbs up the video. Tell a friend, share the word of Easy 8, get it out there, put up a poster at work, or tell some friends who you think might want to get into the hobby. That'd be great. Bring them along, and let's get the subscriber count up a little bit, because as I keep on promising, if you get me to 200 subscribers, I'll let the cats in the studio. And one got in the other day, and it was, well, they say it's like herding cats. It was like herding cats. It was a nightmare. She got behind the curtain. It wasn't pretty. So yeah, if you want to see a bit of chaos, get me to 200 subscribers, and I'll let them in. I'll let both of them in. Table of Horror says, working on a Calidus assassin this night. Ah, that sounds cool. I love the assassins. They're brilliant. A Warhammer 40,000 assassin, I assume, because you said Calidus, and that makes me think that it is. Like Tina Turner said, what's love got to do with it? I'm here purely out of lust. All right. Take me out for a drink first, mate, yeah? Crikey. Or don't. Right, moving on. Let's go to the workbench, and we'll talk about what it is that I'm painting this evening. If I can find the button that takes me to the workbench. It got a bit weird over there, didn't it? Woo-wee. Right, so since last week, I'm gonna be honest with you, I've painted absolutely nothing. Because what you can't quite see here, maybe in the little screen up in the top left, you can see that I've extended some of my hobby space here. So I bought more a couple of weeks ago now. I bought a few components for the Hobbyzone modular hobby storage set, and I love it. So I've got some extra drawers. I've got a little corner alcove over there. I've got some drawers here, which is all really cool. And I've got, my partner can't believe I've done this, I've got a kitchen roll dispenser, because I go through, you know, kitchen roll, as most hobbyists do. So yeah, just a way to kind of make me feel more hobbyish, to tidy my desk. I've got some big drawers beside me, like a little office drawer unit, and I just fill it with rubbish. If I'm not using it, it kind of goes in, and I hate that. I like there to be a bit more organisation, and I'm terrible at organising. So the idea is to empty all of those drawers out, kind of get as much of that stuff into this stuff as I can, and put boxes and sprues and things in there, like boxes of models and things that I haven't painted, to try and organise that, because over here where you can't see, it's a nightmare, and it gives me an anxiety attack every time I look at it. But what can you do, eh? Shiv says 5 minutes in and we have Danny questioning things he thought was fundamental. Yes, yep, thanks for that. Cheers, love that. So what am I painting this evening? I'm going to be carrying on with these assassins that I've been painting over the last few weeks. Oh, we're both painting assassins. I call these assassins. They're not actually labelled as assassins, but let's be honest, they are, aren't they? Maybe I inspired you to do assassins. That'd be cool. You don't have to tell me if I did or didn't. So what I was trying to do last week was just start to get some of the details in there now, and I believe that I was doing some of the piston rams on them. So on this one here you can see all of the metalwork on there. I've started to make some brighter metal bits in here. My focus is a little bit out. Let's sort that out now. I was having a bit of a rush trying to get here, as always, and I didn't sort my focus out. So if I bring that in now. Oh, that's pretty good right there, isn't it? That's all right. Is it? Tell me if that's out. If you don't like that, we don't have to work here. This is what happens when I don't get the time to do it at the beginning of the show. I'll enlarge my screen a little bit. Give me a larger screen. It doesn't want to do a larger screen. Okay, that's fine. Right, well, here we go. So yes, I'm sorting out all the pistons on them. I also, at the end of last week's show, had a little play with doing a little thing on the swords. The idea was to paint the swords bright silver and put like a blue wash over them, and it sort of worked. It's done a kind of a cool thing because he's kind of got some shading on there, and that is slightly bluish. When I started doing it on the other ones, I didn't paint them all bright silver first, and I felt like a bit of a silly bum for that. But the effect on them is actually quite nice. To make that stand out, I might need to do some gold filigree or something. Filigree, sounds weird when I say it. Around the hilts and things, just to kind of make them pop out a little bit more. So I'm going to leave them for now, see how I feel about them. I quite like it. When I painted it originally last week, I was like, no, I don't really like that. There's a couple of blobs though. So there's a big blob on the end of that sword. Don't like that. It's not my thing. But otherwise, generally, they've all come out reasonably well. And it was just, I put a grey wash on them, and then I put a blue wash on them. I think I did a blue ink, actually. And it looks kind of cool. I could put some little blood splashes and things on them. This one here didn't come out so well, so I might need to repaint a couple of them maybe. But I'm just going to leave that for now. I was getting a bit carried away with myself when I was doing it anyway. Didn't do any blue wash on this one at all. Okay, cool. So, let's get them into order, which ones I'm going to sort out. So I've done the pistons on this guy. Yep, he's done. Oh, I just bent his sword. I keep on catching him. I'm going to break them, you know. He's had his pistons done. Yep, he's got pistons. He hasn't. Or has he? Nope. And neither has this chap here. Mr. Orange Coat over here hasn't got it either. Cool. So, well, that's what I'm going to be doing today then, isn't it? So to make that bright silver, I just use silver from Vallejo. It's a really, really bright silver, and that's why I use it, because it's a silver that's bright. Just going to give that a bit of a shake. I've also brought over, didn't have him here last week, the walker that I did a few months ago now, and you can see that I did the pistons on him, a different silver, and on him it really, really stands out. I really like it. These guys are smaller miniatures, and the details are a little bit harder to see, but it does stand out. The trick is, I think, is to not overdo it with the details. Just picking out the ones that it works with. So, bring the palette just into view over here. So, if Shiv is working on an assassin, what else is everybody else working on? Do let me know. I'd love to know. I really would like to get these guys finished soon as well. This week was a bit of a traffic jam in the progress that I've been having lately. But it's okay. It's not like I've slowed down on them. I just didn't get around to painting this week, and I always like to. Just some weeks it happens, sometimes it doesn't. And I had a whole day off yesterday. And do you know what? I didn't do anything. I played video games for a little bit, just for a little bit. And I caught up on this season of The Boys, because I was a couple of episodes behind on that. That's getting good. I love that programme. It's brilliant. And I finished off making the drawers. That's kind of around me on my hobby space now. And then beyond that, I did nothing, and I feel really refreshed for it. I was thinking to myself, I should probably go up and do a little bit on my minis, but I didn't. And there's a part of me that felt bad because, well, I always like to have done something between the 2 weeks, you know, between two shows, but I didn't. I had a great time. Well, I've got a couple more days off coming up actually. So I was in work today, and I'm going to be going back into work tomorrow, and then I've got 2 days off. So I don't think I'm going to get anything done tomorrow in terms of painting, because straight after work I've been invited to go to a barbecue, which is going to be lovely. Haven't had one of those this year because the weather has been appalling. Yeah, when I say barbecue, it's going to be like a campfire barbecue, which is lush, right? So yeah, I'm going to go see some friends and hang out and have a nice evening, and then 2 days off. And I might go out and do some surfing perhaps. But I'm also going to come home, play with the cats, and get some painting done. So I'm getting quite close to the end of this project. I would totally be further along if it wasn't for this week. So here's a little interesting thing. On this forearm bit here, he's got like two little pistons that make up his forearm. And because of the way that the model's been made, you can see that there's like a little bit of mould line between the two of them. Where it doesn't make a complete gap. There's actually like a little bit of raised plastic in there where the paint's caught onto it, and unfortunately because it's so bright, it has you can see where I've kind of painted it. So I'm going to get a little bit of black wash or something in there later on, drop that in there to hide that, and then I can just sort of neaten up the silver later. But little things like that's really worth keeping an eye on, because even though it's one tiny little bit, it's quite noticeable, and I just can't let that slide. Is anybody else like that when you're painting? When you make a tiny mistake and you know that no one else is going to see it, but you know it's there, so you've got to spend that time. You've got to go back in, redo that bit. And it's one of those things that probably no one else will see, even if you pointed it out. But you know it's there, so it's got to be done. All of my painting is riddled with that kind of preciousness. Most normal people will be like, I'm just going to crack on and leave that, and you'll never see it. I've got to. Stands out quite nicely, doesn't it? Bright silver. my quiet voice that I use when I'm concentrating. Cool. I think that's all the pistons on in that I want to do. They've just got quite a few on the legs and just a couple on the arms. And I'm quite happy with that. So, I'm going to pop them down there. I've got a cat hair in my nose and I can't get rid of it. I'm so sorry, but I'm going to have to like be rubbing my nose on the show. It's one of them things, right? I've got to wash the brush out because I'm moving on to a new model. Always wash your brush out regularly, even if you think you don't need to. If you're thinking about it, wash it out. If you're not thinking about it, stop, think about it and wash it out. Stop that paint from clagging up in your bristles. Right. Let's start this one here. Oh, he's actually got fewer pistons on his legs. Has he? Or am I just making that up? No, I'm just making it up. Oh, I remember. It's because of the position of them. Sometimes the pistons look shorter because maybe they're like compressed or something. But yeah, this guy. He's got a couple of leg pistons here. I like the idea that they're pistons as well. And I kind of got this sort of pneumatic sound file in my head of them running and it sounding like, you know, pistons engaging every time they take a step. And they're supposed to be blindingly fast, so that would sound quite funny in my head. Really pays into the whole clockwork thing. Okay, that's his legs done. Moving on to his arms. This is quite a fast job actually, and it makes you feel like you're moving fast because, well, lots of little details. They're easy to paint, which is not normally the case. But because you're painting little details and you're getting through nice and fast, and it gives you like a decent sense of progression. And that just keeps me motivated. Kez says was going to do some, was going to do some more to my dropship, but decided to try and set up my iPad as a second monitor. Ah, okay. How would you set up an iPad as a second monitor on a PC? That sounds like a load of fun. Oh, when he made me second monitor, maybe you could just have it running like on the internet to watch YouTube, unless you're actually connecting it up to your PC. Don't even know how you do that. Causing yourself a serious brain aneurysm. Apple products, man. Sorry guys, I'm not an Apple guy, yeah. I tried. I really tried. Right. So that's all the pistons on these guys done. Let's move on to Mr. Orange Coat. Do him. He's got a couple more appendages, so we might have a bit more to do on him. Got a bit of tea. Things are shifting where I've stored them. It's giving me the GBs. What just moved? Okay. I'll leave it. Sam's going to fall over in a minute live in the show. Connecting up to my PC using software to do it. Ah, interesting. Let us know if you're successful or not. Remember when I had an iPad? Yeah, struggled to do anything with it and connecting it to the PC. This guy's got slightly different leg parts. One of the things I think I'd like to do today is get a brown wash on this guy's orange coat to dull that down a little bit, because it hurts my eyes. Lovely. Let's get those arms done. Got a funny little backpack arm coming from holding a sword here. Doesn't seem to be anything that would be like a piston, so I'm going to leave that alone. They don't really look like pistons. I'm just, you know, think of the nearest looking thing that looks like a piston to me. They actually look like the bones in a human forearm. Because obviously you have the main arm bit and then the radius that kind of goes around it. Which kind of looks like that, really. But it also looks like that it could compress and extend like a piston would, and I really like that idea. I've just got the ones on the tops of the thighs to do now. Ah yes, there's a couple of little bits to patch it with the other silver. I'm going to use the darker silver because this is very bright, and if I painted it with this colour it would stand out, but there's a tiny little bit where this piston here terminates on his thigh, in his trousers here. There's like a little bit of orange where I haven't really painted it very well, and also, I don't know if you can really see it very well, but just here, see where the tip of my brush is pointing? It's like a little orange dot on his leg, and that's like a little plug socket part. I don't know, like some sort of attachment that looks like out of the Matrix or something. I think the vast majority have got them, at least well, the normal Ranger guys, these guys here, they have them, but they're often hidden under their coats, and I just didn't think to pick that out really. Adrian's saying slightly different leg parts. Sounds like me then. Yeah, absolutely. Cool. I still don't know what colour to paint his shoulders, because he's wearing this cloak. He has like a different thing that kind of that he's rocking to the rest of them. So these guys, they just have like their sleeves. Yeah, this guy's got like epaulets and like some sort of a mantle. These guys have something similar, but it's all silver. There's so much silver on him that I wonder if it would stand out. I've got time to think about it. I'm probably going to do like a wash on his orange coat first and then decide what to do with it. I think I'll probably paint it silver to keep it in keeping. It's just again about like isolating it. For example, to make the swords pop, I'm going to paint some of the hilt parts around here gold, just to create a bit of a dividing colour that then separates from here to the end of the sword. Very hard for me to explain what I'm talking about there, but hopefully you get the gist. He does have a little plug socket right in the front of his armour right there, which I'll use the bright silver to pick out, make it stand out a little bit. Yeah, okay, cool. Pistons, yeah, they're done. I'm going to move on to that guy's coat right now. I'm going to do a wash on it right this second. Well, I think I might use my number 1. Oh, that needs a clean. Right size brush, or do I want the next one down? Yeah, this is a better brush. Okay. Sepia. Okay, straight from the pot. Gonna plop a little bit of sepia on here, and which side am I going to start on? I'm going to start here. Hopefully that cat hair goes away. Now, one of the things that I really need to get used to when I'm painting these guys is to make sure that the brown wash that I use on them doesn't pool, because I've got a habit of it, and on some of them it just looks terrible. The idea with a sepia is just to tone down that orange, and it might take a coat or two. But I can also double it up as a bit of a weathering technique and make it look like the cloak he's wearing is a bit grimy. And on some of the miniatures I've painted so far, it looks really good. On others it looks terrible. And most of it's because it pools, and I've used different types of browns and they didn't work at all. You can see it's pooling already down there. We don't like that. So I've got to keep it moving. Keep picking it up using the capillary ability of my brush. Which, for those of you that don't know what I'm talking about, means you just have some dry bristles and you pick the paint up. The dry bristles kind of absorb the wet paint, which is in this case very much like a water, and you can pick it up and move it around somewhere else if you want to. Also, if I turn this guy upside down, it should start running in the other direction. And after a pass or two, this should hopefully start to build up a little bit in some of the creases and lend some natural shading. And you see these little pools here? Yeah, I don't like that very much. Just going to pick that up a little bit. There we go. get a little bit on the hood up there as well. Now there's a part of me that really wants to try using the Basilicanum Grey as a wash over this, and then use browns, because that grey is just, it's unifying. But if I do it and it looks wrong, then I've got to paint it all over again. So perhaps it's a test paint job for me another time. And this is where I say that you guys are an inspiration to me, because I suggested to Kez, who's in the live chat right now, about the Basilicanum Grey wash. Kez uses it on everything, made the wash slightly differently than I did, and was using it, in a different way. Then I suggested just mixing it straight down with water rather than with medium, like what she was using, and then just started applying it over everything as like a unifying wash. And I've got to say, it looks fabulous. It suits every colour. It tones bright colours down appropriately. It makes metals look like metal, and it gives you shadow and depth. And as a byproduct, because it's running into all the recesses and giving you shadow and depth, it's giving you highlights. It's such a great shade. I'd like to have a go with the Army Painter shades as well, because they make some really good shades. I've got here a blue tone. I really like their blue tone. It's very rich. It's a very heavy paint. It works in the same way. It has some really nice behaviours, like it actually sticks to where I want it to go generally, which is quite cool. But Army Painter, as far as I'm aware, one of the things that really made them quite famous is that they've had a very unique, almost a sort of a pioneering range of tones for like unifying washes for your minis. They actually like one of the first companies to really go full on with the whole dip and drip kind of style of washing, where you basically stick your miniatures to the end of a stick, plop him head first into the tin, and then viciously fling him out over some newspaper in your garden or wherever, not in your front room, because you'll get like tone everywhere. But they make a whole different range of tones, different colours and everything now, and acrylic ones, so you don't have to do the whole like enamel flicking thing. So yeah, I think they've got some really nice colours, and it'd be really good to have a little look and play with them and see what colours work with different tones, because I use this sepia on my oranges, on my yellows, on some of my greens as well. But I'd like to see the different ranges that exist, so I can see which ones work better with different colours. It's looking pretty good so far. Getting a bit of a heavy line down here where it's starting to pool right along the edge. So I just want to kind of keep on disturbing that, really. Crumbs has joined us. Hi Crumbs, how you doing? Nice to see you again. How's the tooth? Yeah, the tooth. Had the thing out, but still healing up, thanks. Yikes. Yeah, I forgot about the tooth. Glad to hear that you've had it out. Teeth man. Yucko. Oh my, it's painting time. Totally lost track of this week. How's everyone today? Hi Christoulis, nice to see you again. Yeah, I'm doing well, mate. Thank you very much for asking. Nice to see you. Are you working on a project this evening? Tell me if you are. What are you working on? How's it going? Is it a successful job? Is it a bit of a struggle? Oh, I want to know. I'm having a great time with these guys. I can just feel myself about to get kind of bogged down in the details there, so I just need to keep my head on, basically. And yeah, I'm just trying to like hold this guy now. I'm not going to put any more on. I'm keeping that there just in case I mess up what I've done. But I'm just waiting for it to dry enough that the paint stops running and pooling. So the reason I'm kind of just playing with this guy now is just to sort of manipulate this sepia wash. I'm going to hold it like that. I can see it starting to run a little bit. Well, while we wait, I'll have a sip of tea. Just going to feather that little bit out there because it's quite dark there. Yeah, it's looking quite good. Certainly toned it down a little bit, hasn't it? I'm going to do a couple of layers of this because obviously the more that I add, the more brown will show, and it will tone down that orange quite a bit, and it will make it look a bit weathered as well. Oh, I choked in my own tongue a little bit there. The only problem really with the sepia from Citadel, while it's a lovely colour and I really do like it and it works with a lot of these oranges and yellows and things, is that it's very watery, very, very watery, which means it has a bit of a life of its own and wants to run away with itself. It's still a lovely colour, and I do rate sepia. It's just one of those things that makes me want to consider trying like the Army Painter range, for example. Oh, excuse me. Christula says, I'm currently putting together some Crimson Hands cultists from Shadows of Brimstone, trying to knock out all of my build backlog and then work on the painting one. That sounds exciting. What's Shadows of Brimstone? Tell me more about that. That sounds like it's a Warhammer thing, but I don't know. I feel like I've heard of it. Crimson Hands sounds Warhammery, doesn't it? Michael Tanner has joined us. Yo, yo, yo. Hi, Mike. Nice to see you again. How you doing, mate? You okay? Got a compliment from my gaming group about some of my Frosthaven minis I painted, and I'm feeling pretty motivated, says Christelis. That, as far as I'm concerned, that's a win, right? Let's have a moment of silence for that. Thank you very much. That's great. That's what this show's all about. It's about getting you guys into painting and then hopefully being inspired by that sort of stuff. That's wicked. Well done. Crumb says, my backlog is kind of huge, but nothing short of getting fired is going to give me the time to sort it out. Please don't get fired on my account. You know, work is important. Don't, you know, live to work. Work to live. That's a good motto to live by. But yeah, please don't get fired. Danny's just not giving us the time. I had to quit my job. That would be awful. Could you imagine? Boss is phoning me up. Okay, I'm going to leave that on there for a minute. If it pulls up, it pulls up. Can't sit there and hold it all night. Right. Let's have a look at some other details. We've got little satchels. They've got like little pouches on their legs. So one up there, one there. I'd like to paint those. So I'm gonna. But I'm just having a little look to see if there's any more things on them. Any more pouches. Or if it's just those. Because I like to be able to pick it up, look at exactly where I need to paint, not look anywhere else and get like distracted. It looks like that's just them. Yep. That's good. Yep, so just two pouches on each. One on each leg. Has this guy got any pouches hidden away? Oh, no pouches for the leader guy. Okay, cool. You can go down there then and dry. Right, so let's find the colour that I used the last time. So I have done pouches on these guys before. I did them on one of these guys. Yeah, there's a little pouch on the side of his backpack. It's actually one of those things that I think I need to go back and have a little look at them all, because I only noticed it when I was using them for reference once, and I was like, oh look, he's got a little pouch there. So I just painted it, and I painted it in this colour here, which is khaki. I think I painted it this colour. I could have painted it brown and highlighted it this. No, that is definitely khaki wash with a brown. So yeah. The mortgage keeps me in work, says Crumbs. Yeah, good. Phew. Shadows of Brimstone is a board game from Flying Frog Productions. Big dungeon crawler game. Started out with a Wild West theme, but has since branched out to others that you can slap in. Oh, that sounds really unique. That sounds really fun. That's cool. So I bought my girlfriend Gloomhaven, which is absolutely fantastic, and we love it. And there's like 99 missions in the campaign to play, and beyond that, every mission in the campaign can be just picked up as a standalone dungeon crawler, and it is basically a D&D board game essentially, with its own lore and background and things, and it's really, really cool, and we love it. It's just a monstrously huge game. It comes in a chest that weighs just under 10 kilos. It's the most expensive and largest board game that you can possibly buy. And it don't tell her, but it was £140. It's a hell of a board game. And out of the 99 missions that we play, that we can play, we've had it for over, we're about 6 months now. Sorry, 18 months. We played 2 missions. Because we work so much, we just don't have the time, which is really sad, isn't it? So, yeah. Maybe we need to get on that. But Gloomhaven's a great game if you ever get a chance to play it. Maybe if you know someone with it, like, it's a hell of a game to go and buy and realise it's not for you. But if you're into that, by the looks of it, it sounds like it's very similar. Okay. Quickly realising that Khaki may not have the coverage I want it to have. Oh no, it seems to be okay. Might take 2 coats, as most paints do. But I'm painting it directly over silver, which we know silver doesn't like to be painted over. Or metallic paints don't like to be painted over by non-metallic paints. So there's some hoses and things on these guys, hoses and pipes. I'm going to paint all pipe work, probably like bright gold. Hoses will be dark grey black. If I can get all these pouches, all the hoses and pipes and stuff painted on them tonight, I'll be very, very happy. We've also got some lights and little iconography and things like that, which I'm also going to paint, but I'm not trying to bite off more than I can chew for this evening. But once all the aforementioned are painted, that's pretty much where we're at, apart from the little glow effects on the eyes and things. And I'm really hoping that the eyes will really stand out against their really dark face masks. I'm going to try for a little bit of glow effects. Because I'm working in such small areas as well, I'm going to try and do it all by brush. So I'm going to drop in some white ink into the eye socket recesses, drop in some blue over the top of it, but when I paint the white I'm going to try and just smear it around the outside for a little bit of a glow effect, hopefully. But I might just try dropping it into the eye socket first of all, just see how that looks, because it might be that the lack of a glow effect just makes the eye stand out because it will be very pinpoint. I just realised I'm not really in shot there, so sorry. Crumb says, if she asks, the cost was 2 handbags and a pair of shoes. Yeah, that might go down well, but she's not one of those, she's not, I hate to say the term girly girl, but you know what I mean, she's not really into that sort of stuff. We're both very outdoor pursuits people, very, very active. So yeah, the handbags and shoes thing won't work. But yes, I could certainly relate it into something that she's into. We have had the conversation, very grisly conversation, should I meet my maker? Please don't sell everything that is up here without conferring with some of my nerd friends, because you're going to lose a lot of money. And I'm quite a bit older than my partner as well. Giggly. So, as dark as the conversation is, quite a real possibility, I suppose. Could you imagine? Oh yeah, I just sold everything up in the loft. I got £500 for it. No, no, please. £500. It was £500 just directly in front of me. I think that's before you get to the technical stuff, cameras and whatnot. Oh yeah. Gloomhaven is a blast, says Christudis. Oh, so you've played it? Yeah, it's wicked fun. I love it. How do people feel about Zombicide and Marvel Crisis Protocol? I've not played Marvel, but I have played Zombicide, and I really like it. I like the fact that it's a must to work together. So the first and only time that I've played it, I went in gun-ho because, you know, that's the sort of guy I am. Kick the door in, run on in. Everyone was like, Danny, no. And that's actually one of my nicknames at work, Danny, no, for that reason. And I went in there and I thought I could handle it or couldn't. Got overwhelmed very, very quickly right at the beginning of the game. And then I went down. And then for the next hour and a half, proceeded to sit there and watch the rest of my friends struggle, then ultimately lose while I wasn't able to help them. So, yeah, Zombicide. Cracking game. Loved it. Ruined it for everybody. I have had a go at the Walking Dead miniature game with the lovely people at the Pit Gaming Store when they went to the Plymouth Wargaming show at the beginning of the year, and I actually sat with Matt and Elliot and they taught me how to play the game, and it was really good fun. I played Rick and Carl. Mistakes were made, but ultimately I survived. That was a good game. One of the really good things about the guys at the Pit is that they really showcase a lot of games that I'm going to say not going to say aren't so popular, but they tried to take the focus away from the really big cats, because Games Workshop, etc., Warlords and all that lot, they're so high profile. You can go down a shop, point randomly and point at a display for any of those games. They're everywhere. They're prolific, and everyone knows about them. And it's a monopoly out there. And I think it's really nice to show the other games out there, you know, the love that they deserve. There's some fabulous games out there. And well, here's something for the gaming community. I know that Easy 8 is not very big, and I know that my audience doesn't really reach that far, and that's okay. That's not what this is about. It's that when we go to game shows as people, not as an Easy 8 group, but just go into the game shows, there's so many tester games there and have a go games. People just don't really get involved when they go to the game shows. They want to see some stuff, they want to buy some stuff, maybe ask people some questions, but there's always have a go games that just aren't being run. And here's my suggestion: go and have a go, because it's great fun. Go and explore the new game systems out there, because it's a free way of having a go at something and working out that that's the new thing you want to get into, rather than having to buy a load of stuff to either proxy, which is an easy way of doing it, but you don't get the real feel and the atmosphere for it. But the other way is to buy all the stuff and realise you don't like it, and that's just a waste of your time, isn't it? But going to these game shows and really having a nice sit-down chat with the people that are running those games and exploring the games out there, excellent. Because there's such a range of really fun and entertaining games and unique play systems. Do it. So I've been to loads of war game shows, and I always see people setting up all these games, and the people that are mostly playing them are the people that are setting them up. That's not to say that people don't do it, but it's just not very popular. And by Jove, you should. And Easy 8, the only time that we've ever had, I call it colloquially a trader's table, an events table if you like, was when we went to Recon, which was run by the Pit. Thank you very much, Matt and crew. Myself and my team of Easy 8 people set up a have a go game just for people to come along and play, and a couple of people came and watched, which is fair, but no one really took us up on it. And well, there was no skin off our nose. We had a great time. But it's a shame, you know. Go out there and see all the wonderful games that are out there. One of the games that I really enjoyed looking at, I didn't really have time to play because I was talking to the community so much that was there, was the Aliens board game. Now, Aliens is my favourite movie. I know the script off by heart. I love it. It's such an evocative, feel. It's got atmosphere. It's got characters, like proper characters, and the dialogue to me just seems so real. And while it's a really far-fetched sci-fi plotline, like the things that happen in it are really human and really real, and I just love that mashup of reality and make-believe. It's just cracking. I love the film. Anyway, I digress. There's a war game version of it, and it looks really, really fun, and I'd like to have a go. Yeah. And of course, I don't know how the game plays. Like, do you just play random Marines fighting against, aliens in a random environment, or do you actually play the Colonial Marines from the movie? Because, I'm up for either, but playing the characters from the film is where it's at, right? Let's rock! I love it. I remember watching it as a kid, way too young to have watched it, and not being scared or mentally traumatised by the things in there. But I can actually see why I might have been. But no, it remains to be my favourite film. It's got elements of everything. It's got action. It's got sort of a mystery side to it as well. Sort of the way it starts. It's kind of a thriller. Some jump scares and stuff in there. I just think it's great. I love the setting, special effects. And of course in Alien 3, which I still like Alien 3, it's not as good as the first two by any means, but of course they did some CGI on the alien, and that, while it was interesting to see at the time, it hasn't held up to standard at all. But if you watch Aliens, where it's all physical special effects, it's timeless, absolutely timeless. It just goes to show you the advantages of not CGI special effects. What do you guys prefer? Do you prefer CGI or do you prefer physical, practical effects in your movies? Missing out on some of the comments that are going in. Let me just kind of go back here. There's loads of comments going in. So sorry, I've been missing out on so much. 40k TTRPG soon, says Shiv. And the Terminator. Oh, do you know another franchise that I'm really into? It's James Cameron, man. He's the man responsible. James Cameron. I'm a board game nut. I got dragged into 40k by some TTRPG friends. Yeah, cool. I've got like a little corner of my house dedicated to board games. I'll take a photo and put it up on Facebook if you like, so you can see. Perhaps we should start like a side channel all about board games as well. That'd be fun. There's lots of that sort of stuff out there, so maybe I can find a niche into that. Wait, there's a 40k TTRPG. Yes, there are several. Rogue Trader was a sort of one. Yep. Dark Heresy. Then they did version 2 and made one for Chaos to start. It's Rogue Trader, and now a new company's released it, Wrath and Glory. It's amazing. It's very unique. Go and check it out. They also made a little comic strip about the characters that feature in their games that teach you how to play the game, so that's very good as well. I've not played it yet, but I've read the rules and it is very cool. Shiv says, but yeah, I read that one. Crumb Studio says, no game show near me without travelling for miles to get to one. Oh, that's a shame. Maybe the nearest one to you that we would attend is Recon, which is in Bradford, just between Bradford and Leeds. It's still a distance from you, I'm aware, but yes, it's a good show. we'll go this year. I went into my local GW store, totally empty. One guy there painting. I asked if they still do tutorial games. Was told you have to book. As I look around this empty store as the only customer. That was weird to me. Back in the day, they would drop at the chance to play a game with you. Yeah, I haven't been into GW store for a little while to play a game. I actually have never played a game. Oh, sorry, that's a lie. I have played a game in GW store back in 1998. I remember it being advertised in a White Dwarf. Armoured Fury contest, which was a battle that people could just go into any GW shop and go and play with their tanks, and it was just armour. That was the whole point of it, because, you know, Armoured Fury. Anyway, we're getting ready to go to break here, so let me get ready for a break. So yeah, you just take your tanks in, Armoured Fury contest. So I had a few tanks at home. I got them painted up because they weren't really up to scratch. My dad Jeff actually did them for me. My friend Mark, who lived in Torquay at the time, now has moved back to Torquay actually, incidentally. We went down to the Torquay game store and we entered. He took his Eldar, I took my Imperial Guard tanks and a few Space Marine tanks. And it was just an all against all, and they put all of their tables together. So it was like 4 tables, so it was about 4 foot wide, but 24 foot long table. Space Marines at one end, and Imperial Guard at the other. Doesn't really matter about factions and stuff like that. So we were basically playing all the way down the length of the table. There were a lot of Space Marine tanks. I had the Imperial Guard tanks, and the store kind of just brought all their tanks out, and anybody else could bring their stuff in as well. So I controlled all of the Imperial Guard tanks. I was up against all of the Space Marine tanks, which there's about 4 times as many. And then the Eldar were on the side, because on the opposite side to them was the Dark Eldar, and me and my friend Mark knew that we had to work together to take everybody on. Now, I had probably about 8 tanks myself, and there must have been about 40 Space Marine tanks, but they were being sort of controlled, for lack of a better term, by random Joes coming in from the public. And I was giving up some of the tanks on my side, because only 2 or 3 of them were actually my tanks. The rest of them were all the actual store's tanks. And the idea was that myself and the 2 Eldar opponents were going to team up and take on all these Space Marines, but halfway through, the Dark Eldar guy just decided to turn on me. So then my Eldar friend Mark had to go and take him on. So there was an Eldar fight playing crossways, whilst the Space Marines were fighting the Imperial Guard. And oh my, it was a furious fight. My friend had 1 tank left in his Eldar army after taking out all of the Dark Eldar, and then to a tank, I systematically punched through and killed every single Space Marine that was there. But the whirlwind that was sat right at the back would have killed me if it wasn't for the fact that my friend, with his only tank left, which was like a Falcon, I think, just went over there and shot it in the backside. And I'll always remember that. That was the wrong colour that I was using there. Pay attention, Danny. I'll always remember that that day, because my name got put up on a little plaque up on the wall saying Armoured Fury contest. I haven't been down to the Torquay game store since. My friend has, and he says that our names aren't on the wall there anymore, but it was in 1998. So yeah, going to Games Workshop hasn't always been the best experience that I've always had. That's not to say that the customer service is shoddy. Not at all. They're always very, very helpful, and I always get what I want and more when I go in there, so everyone wins, right? I get my stuff and they get more out of me. But when I went there for a games evening once, I found everyone to be quite elitist, and that was a shame. Now, that might just be my little gaming store. And I say this with confidence on my show, where Games Workshop could probably get in contact with me, but, oh man, we're going to shut you down. But maybe it's feedback for them. I'm not saying it out of nastiness, like, oh, screw you, Games Workshop. I love Games Workshop. Here I am painting your stuff, and I have fond memories of them. But yeah, it was just the players there just seemed to not really care about me, and I just came along with no models. I just wanted to watch. And after that experience, that was only a few years ago, really, I just decided that the Games Workshop game evenings wasn't for me. everybody else that was there was having a great time. So good for them. Bully. But I didn't have a great time. They weren't my people, I suppose. You know, you've got to find your people, haven't you? So, yeah. Table Horror says, "Oh, Danny, would you like to play in an Aliens TTRPG? Stop the press. Yes. More than anything in this world. Thank you so much." Kez says, "I've played at Warhammer World. Oh my gosh, that sounds so cool." There's so many comments going here. I can't keep up. It's almost like I need Kyle to come back and to be my co-host and read out all my comments again. Kyle, we miss you. Do you know what? Struggling to focus, talking about nostalgic memories too much. Let's clean my brushes out, finish off my tea, read this little comment that's going on down here. Shiv says, "If you went into the Torquay GW store, they'd always be painting models." Oh, stop it! Every week. It's your thing, that, isn't it? I love it. You can see you can squeak by with just a Skaven start. Oh dear, yeah, okay. I can see where we're going now. Descending into the puns. I love puns. Right, I'm going to go for a quick 10-minute break, go refocus my eyes and stretch my legs. You should do the same. Whatever it is that you do, you should definitely go and change your paint water. And in the meantime, I'm going to go and grab myself a grown-up juice. See you in 10. Bye-bye. Welcome back. Hope you had a good break. I've only got myself a grown-up juice. Cheers. Happy weekend, everybody. It's been a nice day because the weather started to turn for the good, which is really nice. It's been really, really wet. Like, I'm sure the whole UK has been like it. Where it's just been the wettest July that I can remember. I'm still wearing trousers at work. I work in the outdoors. It's July. It should be the summer. It's been warm for sure, but just constantly wet. But you know, we've had a sunny day, and I was outdoors today training with my team, running on our big sort of high ropes course, which has been nice, working with people who've not done it before and building up some resilience against nerves and stuff. And it's just been a chilled afternoon working with some nice people, doing some exciting and fun things and listening to some music. So hopefully the sun's here to stay, so cheers to that. Hope you guys are having a nice evening so far. And if you are new here, or you just haven't done it before, or yet, right, you should probably subscribe. It will certainly help me out loads, so if you're willing, please, I forgot what I'm going to say, push the subscribe button. That would be great. There's a little bell button as well. If you push that, it will tell you when I go live. But I always put listings out on Facebook because I'm over there as well. You can join me on Discord at the end of the show at the Easy 8 after party, or sometimes just during the week you'll find me online over on Discord, and there's links to all of our platforms just down there. So go check them out. That'd be cool, right? Give me a thumbs up if you feel so inclined. I'd love it if you thumbs up the video. It'd be cool. Oh, I had a little burp there because I just took too much beer down. Cool. Yeah, I'm cracking on with these guys. I'm painting their pouches, getting some khaki colour painted on them. They're looking really good. I'm wondering if I even need to do a second coat. I don't think I do, because I'm going to put a wash over. Excuse me, I'm going to put a little. This is really hiccupy, isn't it? I'm going to put a little wash over them, and then that might make them covered in paint, so I might not need to do that, and then I'll do like a little highlight on them or something. Just having a little look at them now, just seeing what else I should do this evening. I said I was going to do hoses and pipes and things like that. I think that is what I'm going to move on to next. There are some tiny little dials plastered all over their backpacks and things, and I don't really know what colour to do them. I might just do them white with a little black dial or dark grey dial in the middle, and see how that works. There's some gold bits and pieces on them that I'm going to do. And then there's a little icon on the back, which is a little bit difficult. There's a lot of detail on them, but I'm going to try and keep it limited. So I'm going to go crack on. So yeah, let me know if you're working on a project this evening, because I would genuinely love to know. So yeah, come and tell me all about it. Take a picture, put it up on Facebook, put it up on Discord, so that we can all see it, and so that I can be inspired and motivated by your work too. Anyway, here we go, back over to the workbench. What's the grown-up juice for tonight, please? Says Crumbs. Today it is Hobgoblin Gold. It is my favourite. I love Hobgoblin Gold. I love a gold ale, and I like it to be around about the 4.6%. It's not too weak and not too strong. If it's too weak, it's a bit watery, isn't it? If it's too strong, it's too syrupy, it's too grainy. So 4.6 is just about right, and I can handle that. I have a few of those if I want to. I try to keep my drinking down, not because I'm worried about my drinking, but just because it's healthy, I think. So I'll have a couple occasionally, but I always like to have one on a Friday with you guys. Grown-up juice, the taste of Bill's responsibility and disappointment. Grown-up juice coming back for revenge. Yeah. Oh yeah, it just tastes like chilled out evenings. Right, where was I? Yes, painting khaki. Got carried away a minute ago and used the wrong colour, but back to the khaki. Here we go. Just because I want to finish off those last couple of pouches where I was just anxious about going for a break, so I just kind of rushed to the end there. Gonna quickly whip back through the chat there, because there was loads of stuff that I possibly missed. Easy 8. I have to ask, what's your favourite Gloomhaven class? And if you like Alien, you should try playing Nemesis if you ever get the chance. Yeah, Nemesis. Tell me about Nemesis. The name rings a bell in terms of the game world, but I might need a memory jog on that one. And my favourite class, I haven't played many classes, because I say we've only played a couple of missions in Gloomhaven. But the one that I've been playing, and incidentally is over here, because my partner wanted me to paint the miniatures. The one that I was playing was with the Inox Brute, and I painted them up very, very primitively. I tried to paint him up as he looked like on the artwork, the picture that went with him. So that's him here. A little bit on the shiny side, but whatever. She likes it. It's cool. And she was playing with a tinkerer, which I got halfway through painting a little while ago. There's a little tinkerer there, tiny little dude. So those are the classes that we played with. There are loads of classes in Gloomhaven. And yeah, we've only played with those two. I'm one of those players though that gets really stuck with my, I really enjoy playing my one character in Dungeons and Dragons or whatever roleplay game that is that I'm playing at the time. So I know that when it comes to retiring that character, because you're supposed to in Gloomhaven, you're supposed to play them, for a little while, build them up a little bit, get some experience with some other characters, retire older ones, etc., and move on, just so that you kind of get like lots of experience and different experiences rather. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do so well at that because I don't like change. That's part of the game, isn't it? Hey, Brute was my first class too. Nice shield. Thanks, man. Yeah, I just tried to copy the picture because they come with those little character boards, don't they? And I just tried to copy the artwork as much as possible. And that was definitely a paint job that I got bogged down in because I did it months and months ago and it's just been sat there ever since. But it's not like we've played the game, Gotta play the game to get fussy about not having finished painting it. Just gonna go back down the line, make sure that they're all painted on those pouches. They are. They're all coated well enough for now. Nah, not that one. Let's give them another go. A little bit of silver showing through that one. Yeah, that's cool. And this guy hasn't got any pouches. Wonderful. Right. I'm gonna do another layer of the sepia tone over this guy's cloak. Because you can see that the orange has been toned right down. Now, there's a little bit of pooling in some places. Do I pronounce the word pooling a little bit weird? Like pooling? Because I don't like pooling. Pooling. I'm saying it like a northerner. I'm not a northerner. Pooling. There's a bit of pooling on it. That's better. Weird. But it actually looks good and it kind of suits it. There's a little bit behind this widget here hanging down, but yeah, not a lot. It's just toned that orange down. I really like it. It's got a little bit of shine. It's got a nice satin shine, but I'm going to destroy that with some matte varnish at the end of this job anyway. So I'm going to give it another layer. And hopefully we'll start seeing that build up of sepia now. I'm going to give this a nice shake. Push those guys over there a bit. There we go. Nemesis is made by Awakened Realms. It's Alien, the board game, but they call them Intruders instead of Xenomorphs. Shut up and sit down, did a really good review of the game. Cool. I would love to have a little look at that, so I'm going to go and check that out. So that's why probably it rings bells, probably because I like Aliens and I've seen it. Yeah, cool. Crumb Studio, I could go for a cold kebab right about now. That's disgusting. Why? Why are we talking about cold kebabs? Oh, I see. Grown-up juice, back for revenge. Taste of cold kebab and manky cheap pizza from an all-night takeaway. Yeah. Ugh. I'm a vegetarian now. Made that decision about 5-6 years ago, and it was the best decision I've ever made. So just the idea of a kebab now really makes me go bleh. But yes, I was prone to the dirty habits of kebab eating in my youth on a Friday or Saturday night out. I cannot believe the filth that I used to eat. Kebabs, man. I will tell you some horrendous stories about eating kebabs in in the past, but not live on the show. If you want to hear about the kebab stories, come and meet me on Discord after the show, and find out something lightly entertaining, but somewhat dark and sinister. Not my kebab eating, just so you know. But oh my goodness, yeah, doner kebab. That's what I used to eat. It's horrible. Lamb sheesh. Yeah, there you go. Lamb sheesh. Couldn't beat a lamb sheesh. It was a bit pricier than the doner, so we always went for a doner. Oh dear, awful, awful stuff. And then someone had the bright idea in this area. I wonder if it happened in your area too. Doner kebab on a pizza. Just stop ruining what is. What everybody loves pizza. Don't have to turn it into a nightmare. Trying to get that sepia tone inside his coat as well, because he's got the crimson lining to his orange hood cloak thing, and I want it to be also rendered on the inside, but most of it's actually hidden because of the position that he's in. So I'm just trying to make sure that there's a little bit of rendering going on in there. I used to work in a chicken factory, so I feel your pain. Yeah, do you know, when I was a meat eater, or a meato as I call them, chicken was my regular daily dish. I'd have it for dinner. Bit of rice, bit of veg, chicken breast fillet. It's really good for you and cheap, but I suffer from terrible IBS, terrible, and I've had to pause the show on a couple of occasions just because sometimes it comes calling. There's nothing you can do about it, and we're only human, right? So one day I thought I'm just going to give up meat for a while and see how it goes. And an overnight switch, within 36 hours, I was a different person. And yeah, it made a massive difference. And of course, when you start making that decision to go vegetarian, you start factoring in all the sort of the animal abuse stories. And you know, I don't want to turn this evening show into a political tirade of, you know, slander against the animal business or whatever, but they're not treated very nice. And I would like to be a vegan, but I just love cheese. I just love cheese, man. But interestingly, I hated cheese before I turned a vegetarian, so it's interesting how your palate changes as well. But yeah, man, become a vegetarian and save the world a little bit. No one has to die to feed me. Try to live my life with a bit of compassion in my heart. And that's not to say that people who eat meat aren't compassionate, that's not what I'm saying at all, but you know what I mean. When I started to be more comfortable with not eating meat, I was just a bit more shocked by the animal industry in that sense. Right, enough about meat, more about beer. Now wrong with doner meat on pizza. Take yourself outside and have a word with yourself right now. They never take the onion off a doner pizza, I have found. Oh dear. It's fair season here in the US. Barbecue is just part of the July diet. Good on you for making the switch, though. Yeah, man. There's a social aspect, isn't there, to the whole meat thing, and I missed that. If I'm honest with you, I missed that. I couldn't go to a barbecue and enjoy the ribs or the chicken legs or all that stuff. They do make some wonderful vegetarian replacements for it. What I find very entertaining, and it is entertaining, is how upset meat-eating people get about using the word chicken or bacon on fake chicken or fake bacon or whatever it is, you know? It's not chicken if it's not got chicken in it. It's just a name, pal. It's just a word. Calm down. But they, really upset, and I find it hilarious. Hilarious. Right, So I've got a couple of options, and when I painted my walker, here he is, I did a lot of the gold work in this polished gold, which is very, very bright, as you can see here. But previously on all my other miniatures, I did all the gold in the dark one, and I washed them all with sepia. Now, by hiccups again. By comparison, you can see gold, all the gold trim on this guy's gun. I've gone over it with a sepia tone, and it's made it really, really deep and dark and rich, and I'm not sure if I'm overly fond of that. But on this fella here, you can see that all the gold work has been done with the polished gold with the same sepia tone over it, and it's toned it down a little bit and made it look a little bit brighter. So I'm going to move away from glorious gold, and I'm going to go into the realms of polished gold. And I've actually got the brush version of it because it works better, because it's a very runny paint. Here it is, polished gold. So if you're a vegetarian, do you have any Khorne berserkers? No, but plant-based for the plant-based god? Plants for the plant-based god? Yeah. If we were supposed to eat animals, they wouldn't taste of food. Yeah, do you know what? Arguments like that I can't argue against, really, can I? If you became a vegan, you wouldn't be able to anyone, not that they ever do. Yeah, I do announce myself every time I walk into it. I'm vegan. I'm just kidding. For the vegans that are out there, I would like to be vegan. I just love cheese. Just love cheese. All I've been able to eat this week are sausage rolls, and I would kill for real food. Yeah, man. Do you know sausage rolls are yum, aren't they? Do you know who makes a really good vegan sausage rolls? Greggs. Even the people that make the sausage rolls at Greggs, or the food at Greggs, prefer the vegan sausage roll. It is tasty. Yeah. What can I say? Greggs, man. Cool. So some gold bits. I'm gonna do some gold trim around the swords, and I'm gonna do some gold bits on here. So look at these hoses here. We've got a hose here, and we've got a hose here. So I'm going to do those hoses black or dark grey or whatever, and there's a little wire or cable that runs down the side of this thing, so I'm probably going to do that gold. I wouldn't mind doing it yellow. The reason I say that very peculiar thing is because I did a yellow cable on my Gazgul build, and he was all like grim darked up, and the vibrancy of the yellow on one tiny little detail really stood out, and it just was nice to see. But I think it would just be misplaced on here, so I'm just going to do gold on him for now. Yeah, why not? Keep it simple, right? So, here we go. I'll have a wet brush, please. Thank you very much. That's better. Now, painting with the brushable paint rather than the airbrush paint was a great idea, because this is actually quite a weak pigment. But the silver behind it really helps make the colour pop. Slightly different angle. Just make sure I'm in shot a little bit there. There, we can see it standing out. Do you know what? Because I said I was going to maybe paint it yellow, painting it in this polished gold colour, it's quite close to yellow, really, isn't it? Love that. That's cool. Stands out. So, if we look back at the original guys, you can see on top of his backpack there's some little lines on there, whatever they're supposed to be. They look nice in that gold colour. I'm going to paint his in this colour as well. I'm saying his. Don't know his gender. Could very easily be a lady. It's really nice when the little colours, the little details starting to shine through. I know that as I'm seeing this colour starting to develop, I can see all the different metallic colours that are on it. I've got the brassy brass, now I've got the polished gold, and I've got the two different types of silver. So it's very quickly about to become a very busy model, and I know that that's something that I don't want. I want it to be colourful at the same time as not being all over the place. And I refer specifically to the GW box art, where the box art is designed to show off all the details and having it really nicely painted or whatever, but they look very busy and a bit toyish, and I don't like that. There's no need to paint every single detail on these models. It doesn't work like that, you know. Just because it's a detail doesn't have to be painted. So just painting the bits that I think will benefit from it. So, the pipe work, like I was saying a minute ago, those little lines on top of his backpack and the details on his swords here are all I'm going to do, and that is just so that I avoid over detailing. It's going to keep the time down, and it's going to stop him from looking very busy. A bit mucky, you know. It's a bit on the. It's got a texture to it, and it tells me I'm going in too thick. But it's not got a very good coverage, so I've got to find that margin. Now, we've got the pommel to the sword, which is the counterweight. We've got the quillin, which is the hand guard bit there. And then that kind of plugs into the sort of cross guard, but it's also a part of this. Can you see this little T sort of shape here with the two dots in it? Do I paint that gold and kind of separate the blade colour? Or is that too much? What do I do? What do you guys think? You guys normally have some really good ideas about this sort of stuff. Is that too much gold? I think it needs to be painted. I mean, or I could just paint the base of this T section here. What do you guys think? Christina says, people get mad about that. Good food is good food. Yeah, you'd be surprised what people get annoyed about, man. Yeah. What's that blue oily effect you have going on the blades like that? I like it. Do you know what? I'm really glad you said that, because I mentioned it at the beginning of the show, and it is silver, so a bright silver as a base, so not the dark silver, which is chainmail. And I've made a wash of Basilicanum Grey over the top of it. So Basilicanum Grey, it's a contrast paint. I mix up 50-50 of water and this colour. And I use that as a wash over the whole area. Let it pool a little bit. You can see where it's been pooling darker. And then I made, I've just got a Liquitex ink. And then just applied that over it. And that was enough. That's it. And I really liked it. On some of the swords, it hasn't worked very well at all. There is one here where it's kind of blobbed on, and I have to kind of change that. See that? That was the grey underneath, really. And then on the actual orange guy himself as well, it's kind of pooled in places that wasn't very good. So I'm going to redo those because I quite like the way it stands out. Which is why I'm painting gold parts on here, because I want it to separate the colour of the blades a little bit more. So if I was to paint this little T section here gold, it might make that sword blade pop a bit more, but I know that that's going to be a lot of gold. Yeah, you know what I mean? So I think what I'm going to do is paint the base here. You know, this little bit here. and not this T section here with the 2 dots in it. I'd love to know what you guys think about that. Now, I'm actually taking quite a long time to do this detailing bit, but I'm going to be on for a little while after the show ends over at Discord, so if you want to come and join me after the show, you can do. I'll be on video. You just come and have a chat with me and the other guys that come along and join in too. Finish my beer whilst finishing some painting for the evening. So yeah, do you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to wet the brush, get some gold on there. Just do it. Live boldly. That looks kind of cool, right? Yeah, I like it. It's a hard colour to work with, this gold. Does everybody like that? What does everyone think of that? I think that's quite smart. It's not too much for the whole model. Quite like it. Okay, I'm going to do it on the other one. Oh, I like it. Cool. Thank you very much. The separation is hard without making it look too busy. I get you. Yes. One of those things that I was really guilty of when I was first into the hobby in, my early teenage years, when I was about 12, 13, I kind of got into the hobby. Is like I saw a detail and it had to be painted and separated from all the other colours. If there was a hose, it had to be painted silver. If there was a little dot, it had to be painted. No wonder I never got models finished or anywhere near. There's something to be said about just kind of painting the whole area. If you look at, most tanks and whatever, as an example, the rivets aren't like bare metal, are they? They're not like, it's not like the sheets of armour are painted and prepared and then bolted together afterwards. It all kind of gets painted together, so those little rivets kind of just get lost in the sea of colour. Not when I was painting. And it's just one of those little awkward hangovers from a long time ago, that if I see a detail, the temptation is, because it's there, I've got to paint it. And you don't. That's the end of that story. You don't have to paint the detail. Mike says it needs more cowbell. He's absolutely right. A severe lack of cowbell. So more cowbell is needed. I'm going to say it. This gold's not a very good gold. It's a nice colour, but the actual quality of the paint is not very good. And I don't like talking products down, and I do like Vallejo paints, but this one, yeah, it just breaks down too much and turns into water. It doesn't have any coverage at all, or it's got texture and it's lumpy and gross. It's just not very nice. It's making everything look quite cheap. And every time I move the brush through it, I get awful brush strokes. Might need to put some flow improver or something in it. Maybe. Anyway, though, some nice colour on there, isn't there? I quite like that. I'll dull that down in a minute and see what it looks like. Because it is very standout in your face, isn't it? It's a little yikes. But hopefully it will dull down. Because I'm looking at the same colour on the walker that I painted, and it looks really nice. On all of my other miniatures where I've got these little dangly bits with holes in them, I've always painted it gold, so I'm going to do the whole thing gold down here. And it's supposed to be like a little sensor, because they're like super religious, so they always have like religious incense burning and smoking, and some of the miniatures, some of the army units actually use it as a tactic and like create thick banks of incense smoke that you can't see through them when they come charging out of them, which I think is really cool. I just love that slight reality bent into this crazy myth. We're religious, so we have incense to keep the demons or whatever away, but we'll also turn it into a blanket of stealth because we use so much of it. I like it. I think it's funny. Hopefully with a little bit of brown wash on it in a minute, that'll just tone all of this gold down, because as you can see, it's a bit in your face, isn't it? It's a bit bright. Quite like it though. Neato. So, Christudis, I didn't know that you were in the US until you mentioned it a minute ago. Whereabouts in the US are you based, if you don't mind saying, of course, on the show? Perhaps you mentioned it like eons ago on the show, but I think it's just interesting to know where the community comes from, so you know how far the show reaches. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some more of this. It's pooled a little bit on this guy here. So when I do more coats on him, I need to make sure I don't let it pool on there and kind of do a little bit of a softer transition up his cloak, because I'm getting a bit of a hard line on the bottom of that cloak. I'm not going to touch it right now because I can see that it's still drying in the corner here, and if I started touching that, I'd drag big holes into the blob of paint that is drying. So I'm going to leave him for a little bit. I'm also going to do the same effect that I've done on the blades on these guys. I'm going to do it on his claws, because the claws here is supposed to be the same sort of, you know, thing. Transonic, love it. Right, so what I'm going to do, get some of this sepia, and I'm going to apply this to his pouches. Blob. Is that a colour that's even really worked? It's kind of turned it a weird green. I don't like it. Taking that off immediately. I might go in with a little bit of Agrax. A nice dark brown. That's just a colour that hasn't worked at all. Interesting. I must not have done that on the previous go. Let's have a little look. What's the colour that's on him? Oh, it's definitely a khaki. Alright. I'll go in with a darker brown. Alright, let's move away from that. Agrax Earthshade. It's actually got a bit more stickiness to it. So where that sepia colour I said was watery, the Agrax here, it is not as watery, and it sticks and clings, and it's a much better paint. Now I know that the Agrax Earthshade and the non-oil, which is the black wash, they had their recipes recalibrated, redone, and it made them superior. Now I never really had a problem with Agrax, although I do think the new one does hold better. It cleans better. I never had a problem with the older one. So, but the Nuln, it changed it for the good, because Nuln oil, people used to love Nuln oil, but oh, I hated it so much. It never did what you wanted it to. I don't really know if that's the effect that I'm looking for. It's just a bit of a bizarre colour, that. Maybe I need to paint them all light brown and then highlight them in the khaki colour. And while that's a bit of a ball ache to do and go back over it, whatever. If that's what needs to be done, that's what needs to be done. So it's just a bit of a wishy-washy colour. Doesn't look like it's doing anything. It still looks greenish with the brown over the top. Looks better than the sepia for sure. Yeah. What to do? What to do? Doesn't really do anything with it, does it? Too much contrast for sure. Sometimes you just got to make a decision, haven't you? I'm going to do it. I'm going to make that decision. I'm going to move away from it. I am going to go to... I've got a load of browns here. I'm just trying to think about what I did on this one. It definitely looks like khaki highlight over the top. But there is a nice light brown in there. So, what I might do... I don't like the leather brown. I see this... I see this being used a lot in orc models and things. I hate it. I absolutely hate this colour. So I'm not going to use it at all. I have a beastie brown. Not really sure how that's going to look. This might be more appropriate. I've got an earth brown, which is what I always used to use for everything that was brown. It's a bit flat, I think, but it might work well with Agrax Earthshade. So I'm going to give the beastie brown a go, because I haven't really used that much before, so let's give that a little bit of a shot. Christula says, I'm in the northeast. I just guessed the algorithm just caught me at the right time. Cool, northeast. Sort of like New York State sort of area. That's cool. Obviously I've got some viewers in Chicago area as well, which is always nice. Yeah, it's just nice to know how far one extends to, you know. Thanks for coming along and joining in at your slightly earlier time. Mr. Stabby, Sergeant Stabby, looking fresh with that wash. It'll dry lighter. Well, you mean on the pouches? Yeah, maybe. It's just the colour. Just, do you know what it is? The colour is too close to the sort of colour range of the brass armour, and it just stands out a little bit. It's a bit crap, really. That's, you know, I'm gonna give it a little bit of a try. I'm gonna paint some of this beastie brown in here. Just see how that works. Sometimes you just got to go with a traditional old brown colour for leather. I was hoping that a khaki colour would work, because it's just an unusual colour in my colour scheme. Perhaps I'll wash it down with a Sicaran grey as well. Maybe that'll make a big difference. Anyway, doesn't matter really what colour I painted them, because what we need to know is that it's now getting close to the end of the show. So yeah, keep on losing my little menus. Where's my little menus gone? Bring me my menus. There we go. Thank you very much. There we are. It's been another lovely evening with you guys. Thank you very much for coming along, even on a, well, seems like a quiet night tonight in terms of the viewer count. A very chatty live chat, and I really appreciate that, so thank you very much. I know it's the summer, I know it's the old barbecue season, I know it's the sort of time when you'd be hanging out with your friends and your family, but the fact that some of you guys choose to come in and keep me company and paint miniatures with me is really appreciated, so thank you very much. It's a better colour, I'm afraid. This little leather pouch colour down here. Yeah. I'm gonna leave that on that side there and just see how it goes. It looks okay, but that khaki colour is really showing through. I know, it just looks out of place, man. Maybe it'll grow on me. That's one thing that I've definitely come to terms with, is that if I paint something and I'm not entirely sure, is that I leave it overnight and I come back and have a look at it the next day, because it grows on me, and that's exactly how the bases on the Martian guys started working for me. So I just left it alone. Yeah, I don't know what colour to do it now, because both of these colours are starting to work for me. Now that I'm starting to focus on that washed khaki colour, it's looking alright. Like Christina says, now that it's dried a little bit. But also I like that brown colour in there, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to give it a wash quickly and just experiment, and hopefully within the next sort of 20 minutes I'll have a better idea of what I'm going to do with it. So pop him down. Now I probably want to go in with the Agrax, because it's a darker colour over the top of that brown, which is very close to the sepia colour, so I don't think the sepia will do an awful lot to it. I could do a Basilicanum grey, wash over it, but I want to hit it with the brown first. Just see what happens. Thanks for the stream. No, you're absolutely welcome. Thank you very much. Idea, you could hit it with a little micro brush strokes to represent the worn leather and texture on it to cover up the darkness a smidge. If you still don't like it, yeah, you're absolutely right. That is definitely something that I would consider doing anyways, coming back in and maybe just hitting it with a little bit of a highlight. I do like the idea of the worn leather. Like, there's some people out there that can paint that really well, isn't there? I know exactly the sort of technique that you're talking about. Do I want to do that on like a rank and file unit miniature? Maybe. I don't know, now that I'm looking at it, that khaki colour really is starting to work on me. I like it now. Okay, cool. Well, clearly what I need to do is leave that alone for a minute, and I need to just sit and think about it, and that's, what I'm going to do. But for now, what I can do is come back to the sepia colour and apply it over that polished gold colour that I've been playing with. So here we go. Last little bit for the show this evening. And already I can see that that's just, I don't know, bronzed up a little bit. Brought a bit of the warmth out into that colour. Just a little. I can actually come back in and highlight it a little bit with the polished gold again if I find that the colours get a little bit lost with itself. It's moving too far away from that polished gold colour that I quite like. Come back in and give it a little bit of a highlight, but I like how the colour changes by applying just a little bit of a filter to it. Just tell the quality of that polished gold paint is just so far behind the rest of it. It affects how you paint with it, so it just cheapens your whole project if you're painting with a paint that doesn't live up to your expectations. Is that too much yellow on him? Is that standing out too much? Or is it enough? I think I need to go back to that polished gold colour. I might even try the Basilicanum Grey as a wash over it as well. I think that sepia colour, while it makes that a nice colour on that polished gold, I think it's too much. If I hold the miniature sort of here, your eyes are drawn too much to the gold. So I think I might have to go in with a bit of the grey. All these little things, I enjoy this learning process, but I have to at some point dial in on something and stick with it. And do you know what now, Christudis? I'm looking at this colour here on his pouches, and that's sitting well with me. I like that now. Okay, you've got to do it sometimes, haven't you? I've got to come up with a couple of different options and go, yeah, I like that one. Now that it's dried on this side, I like that colour too. But actually that does blend away too closely to the brass, as where the khaki colour is now standing out. So that's what I'm going to do. Oh, hiccups again. Cray. Right, that's enough. That's enough there. Lovely. Let's come away from here. Click. Make sure your paints are sealed, right? Anyway, there we go. Table of Horrors is saying now got to make a coffee before post show. Brilliant. See you over there in a minute. Thanks for coming along this evening, Shiv. Really appreciate your company. Ken says, well, my dropship is almost finished. Not my best work, but it will do. Don't rush it, man. Don't rush it. If it's not your best work, make it your best work. Because it's such a big piece for your table. It would be really nice if it was just that stunning standout piece in there. It's like having, you know, all of your rank and file miniatures and then your sergeant model that stands out in the middle of them all, or that leader or whatever. They're all going to look not bland, but, you know, what we call our army standard, where you just kind of paint them, have some fun with, like I'm doing today. But when you get that one special model, you want to make them stand out a little bit more, put a bit more effort into them. And that's what your dropship model is. It's a centerpiece as well, because it's so big. So don't feel that you should rush it just to get it done. Maybe get it done, and then come back to it over time and do a little bit more detail, or maybe a bit of weathering on it, for example. But it is a really smart bit of kit, and I'm sure it's going to look good no matter what it is that you do to it. So yeah, I'd love to see some photos. And on that note, if you've been working on something this evening, or just generally, you know, around the show, I'd love to see some pictures of your work. So please do take some photos and stick them up on Facebook, put them up on Discord as well, and I'd love to catch up with all the stuff that you've been doing. yeah, I'm about to head on over to Discord. So if you want to come and join me for the Easy 8 after party, I'm going to be hanging out over there for a little while as well. There's a link down there to Discord and all the other platforms that we're associated with. So go and click on some of those and check them all out if you want to. And I'm always all ears about how to improve the show and just the general Easy 8 experience. So if there's something that you think that I could do differently that will make it better for you guys to enjoy, let me know. And you can always drop a line on Facebook, through Messenger, on Discord, whatever you like. Leave it in the comments down here. I respond to everything, and I enjoy interacting with the community, so please do let me know what you think. If you like what we do here, of course, do please consider subscribing to the show, because every subscriber, it might be the smallest little thing from your side, but to me it's the biggest gesture, and every subscriber means a real lot. That's the best English I could come up with on the spot. It means a real lot. Thank you very much, a real lot. I need to start moving to a teleprompter. Anyway, yeah, I'd love it if you'd subscribe. Give the video a thumbs up if you liked the show this evening, and thank you very much for coming along. In the meantime, I will be here next week. There might be something going on next week. I'm sure I'm going to be here next week. If I'm not, then I will keep you all up to date and posted on Facebook. So if you're not already following us on Facebook and you want to know what's going on, please do follow on over there to just kind of keep up with any updates. Of course, I will try to keep the people who don't follow on Facebook updated through Discord and here are on YouTube as well. So stay posted, because the summer holidays are about to hit and my timetable changes a little bit. But I'll try to keep on top of the show, as I always have done. Anyway, I'll be here next week, hopefully. And until then, stay safe, be kind, and keep on painting. And I'll see you soon. Take care for now. Bye-bye. Such a cheap gold. I need to find a new gold. Where can I get paint from? Grant! Grant! Come here! I need you!